Good morning. Hopefully, I'll be able to get my hair soon. I'm so tired of pulling it back in this knot. It needs done, like everything. Um, I had intentions of getting up this morning and finishing my readings that I needed to do for the week for my channel. But I ended up having experienced some family drama this morning that basically I've been going through since 7 o'clock this morning. Um, and so it really zapped my energy altogether. But I did want to make a video and talk about toxic people, because toxic people can even be people in your family. They can even be, your grown children. They can be your parents. They can be siblings. And basically, it's very important to have boundaries with people. And I have said in my videos that I have made, with my cards, that the way that we have boundaries with people is to always put yourself first and don't be scared to say no to people. Don't let people take advantage of you. We cannot control other people. The only thing that you can control is your own energy, and really you're just managing it. Really by protecting your energy and, like I said, setting healthy boundaries. But there are people, even when you have healthy boundaries in place, like this family member that I dealt with this morning, who I've been dealing with their whole lives, that you really can't have healthy boundaries with because they don't respect healthy boundaries. And it is no longer your responsibility to try to fix somebody else. That's when you become involved in codependency. And people might accuse you of being cold when you cut people off, especially when they're family. When you cut people off to protect your own energy, a lot of times people don't understand. And you gotta sometimes you just gotta let other people deal with them for a while, and they'll understand real quick. That's happened in my case. I've been like, no, I'm not going to deal with that. Because, if I can't have healthy boundaries with you and you're just going to trample over my healthy boundaries, like for instance, if you call me and you ask me for something and I tell you I don't have it, sorry, I had a little bit of a lapse there. And if I tell you, look, I don't have it, I can't do it, if I tell you no, and you call me all kinds of bitches or whatever else, I'm just going to block you. You're just not going to have access to me anymore, because you have to be able to protect your energy. And don't be apologetic about it. I've had, like I said, I've been dealing with this person, and, a lot of times I was the first person to cut them off. I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm just not going to deal with this. You're not going to disrespect me. And a lot of people look down on me. They're like, I can't believe you did that, and you're just so mean. And and then they dealt with this person. And they were like, oh my God. I'm like, I told you. And, people will see, especially if you're dealing with somebody who is very toxic and tries to make you look bad in the meantime. Other people will see, because people can't hide their true colors forever, and people want to play, this victim role, this victim mentality, like, everybody treats them bad, and, oh, woe is me, and everything's so bad. But you control, you control yourself, you control your energy, you manage your energy, and your energy is what's creating your situations, and there are consequences for your actions. And a lot of times, especially as parents, like I said, I'm really not trying to give a lot of details because of the sake of my family's privacy, but a lot of times as parents, we feel like it's our responsibility to save our children from their consequences. No, especially if they're grown. If they're grown and they are out here making poor choices. And understand, I don't judge anybody, because I myself have made very poor choices. But you know what? I have not blamed other people for the consequences that I'm facing. I have not been like it's somebody else's fault. I'm like, no, this is a situation I created. And that's the difference. So if you're dealing with somebody who never accepts responsibility for their actions, they always want to blame you for shit that's going wrong in their life. really start to try to have boundaries and learn how to say no. And really stop feeding into the situation, because these type of situations will suck you dry, absolutely suck you dry, of your energy, your finances, any type of resources that you have, your peace, your mental health and well-being. And so it becomes, very crucial at this point. Don't be scared to block somebody off from you. And a lot of times these type of people will get very desperate, and they will, threaten to commit suicide, which is what I had dealt with this morning. If I don't get my way, I'm going to kill myself. Well, my inner knowing, my deep inner knowing, told me that, this is just another attempt to get attention. But, you have to take that kind of shit seriously. And if you are, when people like that are trying to get attention, they get it. You get the kind of attention that you need, that you thought you needed. And then that's another consequence of your actions. So basically what I'm trying to get at with toxic people is these type of people will always blame you. They will always try to belittle you, always try to put you down, always try to make it feel like it's your fault, like you have done something wrong. And if you don't know who you are and you really aren't in touch with yourself, then you can really let those type of situations get you, especially like if it's a romantic situation. A lot of times we'll get involved with people and we think it's love, and it's manipulation and control. And people do things to try to manipulate you and control you to get you to stay with them. And this can become very dangerous, because this is how you can become, and understand, mental and emotional abuse is probably worse than physical abuse, because, the scars last a lot longer. I've been a victim of all three. Because, in my 20s, I was a battered woman, and so I had experienced all of them. And I can tell you that by far the emotional abuse was way worse. And, I was sitting in a group one time for domestic violence victims, and the person who was leading the group said, if you would ever go out on a date with a man, and he would just beat the shit out of you the first time you went out, you'd be like, I'm out of here, fuck this. Because it's systematic. People are very charismatic and very charming, and they do that to get what they want. And then once they're in there, they can just wreak havoc, rearrange furniture in your head, and it's very hard to release these type of situations. And I have literally found that no contact is the best way to go. You have to protect your peace, your integrity. You have to protect your energy. If you're going through a situation with like a romantic partner and you've gone no contact, you've cut off all contact with them, seal all the leaks. Sometimes you have to not even be friends with their friends anymore. You have to take all their pictures down, delete all their pictures from their phone. Any cards that they've given you, you have to put them away, even throw them away. Get rid of that shit. Any type of reminders. And, you have to really tell yourself when you're dealing with a toxic person, especially when they come in all apologetic and feeling sorry, because there's that cycle that people go through. Sometimes you have to look at it and you have to be like, look, and I'm always talking about living in the present moment, and it is important to live in the present moment, but when you're dealing with this type of situation, sometimes you just got to go back and look at all the shit that they've done. Look at their pattern. Be like, do I want more of that shit? It's always like this. So know that if you let this person back in your life, you know what it's ultimately going to be again. And so the message is like, even if it's somebody, that's family, like even like I said, a grown child, it's very hard, but sometimes you have to walk away from the situation, and you have to tell yourself that, just trust and believe and just leave it in, God's hands, the universe hands, source, whatever your higher power is, and just trust and believe that they're going to be all right, and put yourself first, and don't be afraid to walk away, and not be manipulated, because these people are very, very good at manipulation. I'm going to probably be talking more about toxicity, and protecting your energy, and really being able to put your peace first. I've gotten to the place in my life where peace is the number one most important thing in my life. And even when my mind starts kind of going in circles, and really trying to tell me stories, or really trying to kind of side rail me, I even have to tell my mind, look, I want inner peace too. Not only my home, because my home is very peaceful. My home life is very peaceful, but I want inner peace as well. And that involves not staying up at night, laying awake, worrying about somebody else. Because worrying isn't going to do any good. You have to just release it and have faith. And I've seen people stay in toxic relationships forever. Like just for years. I don't know how they thrive. I really don't, because, I've seen people, like, I'll be 50 years old this year, and I've seen people who are my age that just, and understand my life's not been easy, but I've seen people my age that I've just been like, oh my God, what have they been through? Or even people in their 20s or 30s, and I'm like, man, and understand I'm not judging, but... And I understand people always want to say, it's drugs or whatever, which, it probably is. But, basically it's the stress and that energy behind why you're doing things that's causing the aging process. When people are living in hell and living in fear and living in conflict all the time, they're trying to self-medicate to make themselves feel better for situations they've caused that they don't even know why, because it's in their subconscious. They don't even know why they do the things. They don't even know why they stay in situations they stay in. So that's why it's so important to become conscious and aware. And I'm always talking about thought patterns, behavior patterns, and attracting people into your life who are not good for you. Why do you keep attracting the same kind of people? Or why do you keep dealing with the same shit over and over again? And sometimes you just have to love somebody from a distance, and that's all right if you do that. Love them from a distance, because especially if you know that if you get involved with them, it's going to be nothing more than codependency and drama and fear. And that's it. And that's not love. That's not being loving. We think that's being loving. I have somebody, I was trying to talk to on my Facebook account before I deactivated it, who has an alcoholic husband, who thinks that, what she's supposed to do is just to be this martyr and just to be this long-suffering wife because of her religious beliefs. That's what you're supposed to do with with your husband. You're supposed to be there no matter what. No, sometimes what you have to do is walk away. And that might be the turning point for that person. Even if you don't end up together, love them enough to walk away. Because as long as you're there and they know they have you, they have no desire to change. None. Why would they ever change? If you have a husband who's a philanderer or a drug addict, and you're thinking, you know what? Or if you have somebody that you love that is going through these things, and you're like, I just want to be there, just want to be there, just want to be there. As long as you're there, they have no reason to change whatsoever. Why would they ever change? Why? Why? They have you. Why would they have to change? And the whole time you're sacrificing yourself. And then 10, 20 years from now, you're sitting there like, man, I sacrificed all of this so that you could love me. Why don't you still don't love me? Why aren't you giving me what I need? Why aren't you loving me? You owe me. That's not love. I'm just getting so emotional today because I've been through so much shit. Y'all just don't know. I have, a grown son that's just, man, it's just a fucking mess. And sometimes you just have to just let people go, let them be, just love them enough to let them go, because all you're going to do is just, anytime you feed that, anytime you feed into that need that they have for attention to be able to manipulate you, you give them more and more power. And it has to be about you. You have to put yourself first. You just have to. You can't change anybody. You can't. The only person that you can work on and change is yourself. Change how you see things. Change how you view things. Raise your level of consciousness and work on you. That's what you have to do. And I'm going to try to get these videos out this weekend. I've been going through this shit all morning. And like I said, I really just wanted to talk about toxic people, because I really feel like I've eliminated all of the toxic people out of my life. And people who, when they lose control over you, they tend to get very angry, and they tend to act out. And that's the reason why you just block their numbers, man. You just have to. You just have to. And I'm unapologetic about it. It's all about me. I've got to protect my energy. And make sure it's all about you and you protect your energy. And that's all I wanted to say. And hopefully I'll be able to get these videos out. I got up 7 o'clock this morning, intending to do this. Woke up to text messages. Check on your son. He said he's going to kill himself and all this kind of shit. So I spent the whole morning trying to get welfare checks done. And, it is what it is. I'm just saying, protect your energy, and sometimes people will do things to get your attention, and sometimes, you have to do what you have to do. I didn't deal with it personally. I sent the authorities. That's all I could do, because I'm not going to get involved in that shit again. I'm just not, I've disconnected from it, and I have peace, and I'm not going to let anybody take my peace from me, and I don't care what anybody has to say about it. So you have to that's the level you have to be on. You have to be really tough, and you have to really stand strong when it comes to dealing with other people, especially when they're in lower energies. So I hope you guys enjoy your weekend.